complex philosophical questions. Curious to wonder what is reality, humans have used scientific analysis, personal observation, and other methods. Although these methods have been used, multiple answers have been discovered or brought about. One that I find most compelling is materialism. Materialism is the idea that reality is essentially matter. In Roots of Wisdom, it is defined as the belief that reality is essentially matter, and it can be anything. But it does not only relate to physical objects, but can also be thoughts, emotion, and even action. One major supporter was Thomas Hobbes. In arguably his most famous book, The Leviathan, he states that the surrounding matter outside a person can lead an individual to perceive what is real. But it does not only have to, but this can be anything. Some physical examples could be the taste of a mango. When asked this and presented to someone who does not know what the taste of a mango is, they would have no perception of it because they've never had it. They would have to be physically presented with this mango and experience the taste, and it's gained from experience. This may seem, at first, arguable, but let's take a different example. A Krabby Patty. If you think of SpongeBob, has anyone ever had a Krabby Patty? No. If I asked you, what does a Krabby Patty taste like? Can you understand? Can you tell me what a Krabby Patty tastes like? No, it's impossible. Idealism argues that it can become that your perception is based on your thought, but how can your thought create the taste of a Krabby Patty when no one's ever had one? Some non-physical examples are life after death. Applying Hobbes' concept that in order to understand it, it must be physical, and it must be gained from physical objects. Everything is from an object. Life after death. When you die, it is not everything goes away. There's no more material. But your body is still here. There's still matter, and it stays in material form. Another variation is in dreams and near-death experiences. It's argued that maybe it's because of thought that it becomes real. But we can also apply Hobbes' concept here, where by applying everything, it's an object. Your brain, which is a material object, sends neurons into you, uses neurons and impulses to create these thoughts and dreams, which in turn create this reality. This reality is based on a material object, which in this point is the brain, which creates these life and deaths. It also brings about freedom. Freedom is caused by a material object. It is caused from the brain, which sends neurons and impulses, and creates this freedom, which is actually not freedom. Can freedom actually be free when it's caused by something? To me, no, it can't. But to an idealist, it is. But how is this so? It works alongside causality. Causality is like determinism. It is based on an initial cause, which is unknown, an initial uncaused cause, which builds from that, which leads to the next event. In my diagram, the question mark represents the unknown cause. The cause which leads to the next cause is represented by the arrow, and the events that occur in between are the little periods in between, which leads to the first event, which is A, which again is caused by other events, which leads to B, the second event, and so forth and so forth. Each event builds up and causes another reaction. There are limitations to this, though. Some limitations are primary and others are secondary. Primary limitations are limitations which cannot be changed, and secondary are limitations which are able to be changed. If we apply this primary limitation, one example could be physical laws. Physical laws such as gravity cannot be changed. unless you're on the moon, then it changes insignificantly though. Space travel. It was seen as a primary limitation before the advancements of technology. It was seen that you could not get out of this atmosphere at all, and that you were bound to stay. With advancements in technology, we gained the opportunity to travel above and set space travel as a secondary limitation. It changed. It was not originally a secondary limitation, but it has the ability to change. An example of a secondary limitation was intercommunications. Before advancements in technology such as cell phones, communication among different countries and continents was incredibly difficult. It would take weeks upon months to get information relayed. But with advancements in technology, it got moved. We can now communicate with people in other states, maybe even outer space, through internet, technology, and even phones. There are limitations though. One opposing viewpoint to materialism is idealism. Idealism works on the idea that reality is based on ideas. It's based on your thought. If everything is perceived, which makes it reality, how can this be? In my example of the diagram, there's a man thinking of an apple. Because he thought of the apple appeared. And then he could eat it. But how can something come out of nothing? A thought create reality. Does reality come from thought? Relating back to an example of whether the room would still be here if we left. Our thought could say, maybe it will, maybe it won't. Maybe if we think the room is on fire, it'll then become on fire. But is that really going to be happening? Maybe, but very unlikely. The room will still be here. It will still not be on fire, even if we think it's on fire. Causality argues that there are no limitations, but there has to be limitations for something to exist. Limitations that materialism argues are said to be unneeded, unused in idealism. Gravity does not provide a boundary, for example, on this. And spontaneous thought just occurs. Does the spontaneous thought of chocolate occur before this? Did something have to create you, force you to bring about the idea of a chocolate? Because I doubt anyone was thinking of chocolate, at least I doubt it, I really hope not, before I said the word chocolate. The taste of a mango, if we go back to that example, does the taste of a mango actually come about before you taste a mango, or does it come after? If I give you a Krabby Patty, will you then have the idea of what a Krabby Patty tastes like, or do you right now know what a Krabby Patty tastes like? In my idea of a tree, there's a man thinking of a tree. Does the tree become real then? Or was the tree already there? The tree was already there. It did not become a reality based on just one idea or one thought. It came from matter, which already existed. Everything comes from matter, is what materialism argues. In conclusion, although many answers have been found and present numerous evidence, or not as much evidence, to what it is, there are answers. Maybe not the best answers, but there are. In my opinion, materialism is actually the best answer. And the only way to know is by understanding that everything comes from physical objects. And with the multiple viewpoints available, debate will still occur, mostly until there's no one left to perceive it. Thank you.